with Genesis 2 as a hardcover. It's 134 pages. So I just went for it. And this is the brainchild and the misbegotten love child of two guys, Christian Bow, who is half my age. Yes, I am old as bleep, and and myself, Alan Ling. And Christian is a trained artist. He went to one of the School of Arts, I think down in LA, learned how to draw all sorts of Disney characters, and even though he loved manga also. And what he and I did was we both love comic books. We both like playing guitars, both like blaming people for every single problem on the planet, except, of course, we're blameless. And so hard for two guys like that to work together because we couldn't blame each other. I mean, we're partners, right? And so, so we, after struggling for 3 years, we were able to come up with this, what we figure is a pseudo masterpiece. So, but that's just, we're biased. So the art's incredible. We actually had 4 artists working on this thing. I mean, 4 people. We had Zach Atkinson, who was the colorist for some of it, last half, and then of course Christian did most of the first parts of the novel. We had Zach Atkinson do the covers or the chapter cover separations, and then Manuel Martinez. Let me see if I can find one of the really great things that he did. So Manny did these double splash pages. You can see that. Really incredible fight scenes, hundreds of people fighting away. It was pretty amazing. And then we had some other artists. Actually, he was in prison. Robert Morris, he did some of the artwork, and we kind of copied it over. It was pretty cool. We spent a lot of time, conversing over how detailed it can be, and we definitely spent, a lot of our energy and time making sure that this book would satisfy as many people as possible. So we kept it kind of PG 11 versus 13. And turns out, besides the violence, which we kind of try to water down as much as possible, we made it everyone friendly. So anyway, I'm actually open to questions, and I don't like to just talk about stuff. I want to hear from you guys and answer as many questions as you can about everything about the comics and even how we got onto this little ride here. So ask away. I am going to show you some other stuff in the meantime until some questions pop up. So yeah, here we go. So anyway, here's I don't know if you guys have gotten chapter 6. If any of you have been to Comic-Con, then you'll see chapter 5 and chapter 6. So chapter 5 is actually the origins. So we go back and we look at the past, like it's a prequel to Genesis 2 and the development of some of the characters. And it's full of spoilers, tons and tons of spoilers in chapter 5. And I do explore several themes that are current as of today. Don't forget, this is almost, I started writing this thing with Christian almost 5 years ago. So we were exploring some themes back then that are pretty current now. There is some transgender stuff. Oh, the plot of the comic. Okay, so for those of you who aren't familiar with Genesis 2, Genesis 2 refers to the second Genesis. So we're talking about the reinvention of basically humankind. And it takes place well over 100 years in the future, 150 years maybe. I don't say the exact date because I don't want to date myself. And it's about 2 childhood friends who grow up. They go into different levels of science. One goes into genetic engineering, and that's Danny. And the other one goes into basically technology, as a matter of fact, identification technology. Lisa is the scientist who goes into the drone and ID technology, and unfortunately, her technology is used for nefarious purposes by, or once they want to use her technology to basically kill all the world leaders. Her her ability for her software to be able to identify people by their thermographic body image. And then, of course, if you can have a drone zipping around and it could identify people by just the thermographic imaging, then you can actually go and kill them with a Hellfire missile or identify, get other people to go and track them down and kill them. So there's one guy named Voight. He's a super like villain, and he is like able to. He has his own gigantic floating fortress in the oceans. He has several of them, and he basically wants to destroy all of mankind. You find that later on in the book. Um, Danny, of course, is a very mild-mannered scientist who fools around with genetic engineering. So he creates all sorts of cool creatures like this giant gorilla eagle. We call him Igor. And then there's a, if you see the dog down here, yeah, see, that is Ardo, which is an armadillo dog. And then, of course, Cap is down here. That is a porcupine cat. And these animals are actually almost, they're bullet resistant. They're super genetically modified hybrid animals, and they are super strong, and they're also much bigger than your average dog or cat. Um, I have a model of Ardo. If anybody goes onto the website, you'll see some of the models that are being made. We made them for Comic-Con, and the model itself weighed 300 pounds because it had a steel bar going through the leg all the way through the body, the armature of the sculpture. So these animals are in hundreds of pounds. Let's say Igor probably weighs well over 2,000 pounds. I put all the statistics in some of the comics, and they're super strong, super big, uh, bullet resistant, like I said, and quite amazing creatures. And Danny basically was able to genetically engineer them to be, protective guardians, as well as able to think for themselves and initiate and follow directions from him. So, so where's this all going? Yes, we are trying to create this nice dichotomy between good and evil, where Lisa and Danny are the good people, and then of course you have Voight, who's not so good, and the animals basically come and help with the rescue of Lisa, who's eventually kidnapped uh, by Voight. So it's a long book, guys. So in the meantime, what does this all mean? I mean, am I just writing a book just to get some weird cathartic thing out of me? No, I really did want to write something that would have some meaning to people, the readers. We talked about terrorism in the book. We talk about global warming. We talk about cowardice and how to overcome it. And so there are heroes and there are villains. So the typical formulaic way of getting people to take sides and become interested in what they're seeing. So um, Owen, thank you, got that. And I hope whoever asked the science fiction person, I hope that was a satisfactory answer. I don't want to give away everything. There's a lot more to it. I have some little secrets thrown all over the place. I didn't mention one of the main characters because it's kind of fun. He always shows up again and again. I'll give you a clue. I'm a big supporter of Elon Musk. I actually, everyone criticizes him, but I think he's actually a pretty cool guy. You got to have people who are dreamers and people who are a little crazy who can actually make some of their positive schemes for humanity work out. So yeah, so there's so much involved in it. And again, it goes, we're coming up with a chapter 7 pretty soon that's talks about the origin of the animals and the whole thing about genetic engineering, which by the way is probably going on even to this day. There's still plenty of genetic engineering happening. So yeah. Anybody have any other questions about some of the stuff that I'm doing and why did I even bother? You know, because that would be interesting to tell those stories about coming up with characters, which I do talk about in some of my videos that are on the website already. So I see no questions, but okay, I'll just keep talking. So anybody want to know about chapter? I'm going to skip over to chapter 6, and we talk about terrorism in schools, which is like, that's not a cool subject. Parents don't like it, but we do have some pretty cool things. This is, you can see we have different kinds of GMOs or genetically modified organisms that Danny was working with, and they're smaller. We have a little rhinoceros, bulldog, and a cat that has multiple limbs, more than normal, and then of course an eagle that's more like a dragonfly. So I think Zach helped me actualize these creatures, and Danny's still using, he still likes to play with animals and get them going. And then here's a spoiler, we have Lee, not Lisa, but Lee, and so I'm not going to tell you what more of that. And again, don't forget these are our childhood friends. All right, so. Terrorists come in, and of course you have high school security, which kind of a little bit effective, but not that effective. So I don't know, you can see all this good stuff here. But you can see the artwork was done by Zach. He colored and did the line drawing. So he did quite a bit of artwork here. Chapter 5 is the same thing. There's some pretty amazing artwork going on here as well. I mean, I don't know if you guys can see it too well on the, but we have like, oh, there's a terrorist explosion, and you can see Zach's amazing work when it comes to explosions. He can do explosions better than anybody else in fire. It's pretty amazing. So yeah, just trying to show off the art because the art's beautiful, and it takes place in Berkeley. So Zach drew a picture of the Campanile in Berkeley, and that's where I went to school. So yeah, I actually have. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but we have the gorilla model. And it's the gorilla model. The arms kind of fell off of this thing, but yeah, it's pretty cool. So we actually did a life-size version of Igor using this is a laser printed model of that, and we actually made it into an 11-foot tall model at Comic-Con, which was really great. And at Comic-Con, as you guys know, it's pretty amazing to even be at Comic-Con as an exhibitor. 12 years ago, I was, Comic-Con happens right around on my birthday, by the way, every July the 25th, Comic-Con. So my brother Lambert told me to go to Comic-Con and go and enjoy all the comics, because I've been a comic addict since I was 4, and to have all the cosplay people come up to you and take pictures, and supposedly that was supposed to be a good thing, but after a few days of Comic-Con, I walked away and I was sad because I kept saying, I used to do comics, I used to draw, I used to do all these things. I want to be on the other side of that table. So what happened was, years later, I got diagnosed with cancer. That didn't start me on comic books. I just started getting interested in drawing again, and then my father passed away, and then I said, okay, I really got to do something with my life that's not just working for other people. So anyway, I decided that I'd start going back to doing comic books, and but I didn't draw very well. It's been years. So I was looking for an artist that I can collaborate with, and one of my other friends, patched me into Matt Lucas, and Matt's good. Did martial arts. He's a stunt guy and good friend of mine, and we started working together. Christy and I we hit it off really well, and we began, coming up with a concept for Genesis 2. And I can tell you, it took us 6 months to come up with just the characters, the premise, the idea, what'll take place, when will it take place. 6 months to do all the pre-production and draw all the characters up and get the character lineup. And then finally, after 6 months, we started drawing the first few pages. And the first 6 pages probably took another 6 months. And then the ball started rolling. And then after probably about 80 pages, I think poor Christian kind of burnt out, and we had another 50 pages to go. And it'd already been like probably 2.5 years. So last 50 pages came in about 6 months. And yeah, it was hard work for Christian, and I was, cracking the whip because I wanted to start writing the dialogue and getting all that done. And a little secret, we did the novel 5 pages at a time. I did not want to write the whole thing out. I wanted to keep it a little bit dynamic. So if any of the readers start reading the comic book, they'll realize I can't really figure out what's going to happen next. And that's the whole most important thing about the writing is we didn't want to write the whole thing out already. I wanted to keep the interest level for myself, keep the interest level for Christian high, so that when we're writing a graphic novel of that length and having to stick with it for so long, that we can keep the excitement going. So now, do I do that? I don't do that so much now. I try to write, 15, 20, 30 pages out as much as I can so that the artist has a direction on where to go. So again, I was a noob, so I didn't really know that some artists need lots of planning and a lot of direction and some foresight. So that was my error as a creator and kind of a not so great artist at times. But so I'm open to more questions. I will just keep talking until I see more questions popping up here. I'm going to go and take a look at my computer. Oh, tons of questions. Um, whoa, sorry about that. Okay, so doing comics in digital, almost all the comic pages that you see were all done on Photoshop. Okay, we did a lot of the coloring was also done on just nothing but Photoshop. Another thing that was really cool was that even though some of the guys that we use, Manuel Martinez, Nate Van Dyke, they do everything in still ink and pencil. We scan everything and then goes to Photoshop and it becomes, then we colorize everything. So yes, Photoshop, colorizing, digital. Digital's the easiest to correct. Also, if there's some mistake, boom, we just go back and fix it right away. So yeah. And I think, let's see, sci fiction. Yes, you definitely wrote down that augmented reality. Yeah, I think later on, people should be able to read comic books in 3D. Everything should be that. Or no, you don't want to start doing motion, or is that all of a sudden you're just doing 3D CGI movies again? But comic books should be nice to be able to look and to see everything in 3D and be able to pop out. I think that's a great idea, by the way. Um, so, Eric, thank you. Is it going to be, is Genesis 2 going to be an animated film series? I talked to my friend Daniel Wu, and Daniel Wu is, as you know, he's like the Brad Pitt of China. He just did 3 seasons of Into the Badlands for AMC. He stars as Sonny, and Daniel's idea was that you shouldn't turn this into another Marvel film. You should turn it into a animated series. And I go, oh, I don't want to just do another cartoon thing. But now, I have to say that I'm more open to that. I think it's a great idea. When you're in this industry of entertainment, you have to be receptive to all sorts of other people's ideas too. So I'm trying to be more open-minded to those things right now. And thank you very much, Owen, for happy birthday. Yeah, I'm glad I made it this far because a few years ago it was terminal. So I don't think I would have, being able to celebrate, 15 years after the fact is pretty good. So, or now it's 16. Oh my God. Okay. Uh, so let's see. Great. So I'm going to keep blabbing a little bit longer. I think we had a big hiccup, and I really appreciate everybody sticking with the IT issues earlier. And again, Ardo. Yeah, if you guys look on the website, if you guys ever have a chance to go, and we have so much content and it's so robust. There's so many, we have like hundreds of pictures of them making the giant 3D models of the characters. And again, yeah, it was someone asked me, why did you bother to do that? And my answer is, why do we bother to do anything? Because we want to try to have fun, and we want to, challenge people's imaginations or even inspire them to really see what the characters would look like if they were real. And bringing a two-dimensional cartoon character to, life is great, other than it being Homer Simpson. So okay, so I am going to talk about some of the artwork that you can see here. So um, if you can see this close up, this is actually one of the robot sentries that is in Genesis 2, and this artwork that you can kind of see here, the robot sentry is actually surrounded by all these different kind of ninja terrorists. And what's cool about it is this is actually from, sorry, I'll move this guy out of the way. It's actually from a Bruce Lee film. And I don't know if you guys watch Bruce Lee films, but I did. And, in these martial arts films, they surround the guy in a giant circle. So a person surrounded in a circle, and you could see where there's all these people surrounding him, which are the terrorists, ninjas, and the robot sentry is fighting him off, and there's a laser beam that zaps through one of the guy's heads, and it's kind of cool. I like that. Um, Not that I like killing people and with lasers and stuff, but when you're doing art, you can do whatever you want, right? You can promote some pretty cool looking themes, and Nate just made an amazing splash page, cover page that we really enjoyed kind of co-designing together, and then he actualized it with his amazing artwork. And if you guys don't know Nate Van Dyke is his famous. He has a character named Dutch, who's this mad, crazy monkey. And then we have another. Let's see. Uh, and he also has done a lot of work for heavy metal, and so he's an amazing artist, and he's been doing this for decades. So, but he's not that old. And yeah. So anyhow, we're doing chapter 7 for Genesis 2. We've already shown you some of the other chapters, and again, we're going to try to make the chapter 7 more humorous if we can. And it's about the different kinds of the upbringing of our three GMO characters, which is the giant eagle gorilla Igor, Ardo the armadillo dog, and then Cap the cat porcupine. So going with that, yeah. And let's see. Questions. I'm ready. We got 15 minutes left because we spent 15 minutes struggling over this audio, but fire away. If anybody's got questions for me, I'm here to answer. And yeah, so I'll stand here and just look all serious. So I'll just keep talking then. So if anybody is interested in actually drawing comics, uh, I always just say just start drawing, period. I mean, and definitely if you're not just a natural born artist, your art doesn't have to be as like all the stuff that's here. Art just has to be able to talk to people. And even someone says, "Hey, I just did 6 stick figures," and I said, "But if your story's good, then the stick figures they'll tell the story." So I want to encourage everyone to just go and start off the one panel thing with a funny blurb on it, and just start expanding. And the easiest thing is to tell your story. I mean, tell a story. Easiest thing is to tell your story. So yeah. Um, oh, and you asked the best questions. Okay, so inspirations for the books. I would say that all the stuff that I put into every one of my um, my books all pretty much come from maybe my own visual experiences that I see with movies. Um, I'm movies that I like: Lord of the Rings, Matrix. I like some of the other grittier movies like The Road. Uh, um, Someone asked me if I'm into Star Wars, and I said, you know what? I've met George Lucas, and I like George, and I like Star Wars, but I'm not that into it like some other people. Some people are really into Star Wars. I'm not that into Star Wars. Am I a Trekkie? Yes. I've actually met William Shatner and Patrick Stewart in person. So and actually, yeah, William Shatner doesn't talk much, but Patrick Stewart is he's a really kind person. And so let's see, uh, have I met other people? Oh, I saw George Lucas talking to Ray Harryhausen at a Visual Effects Society get together. It was amazing watching those two talk. So I have been very privileged to be, in just being where incredible conversations happen. I worked at Pixar as a physical therapist, so I met Steve Jobs, and of course I've talked to Steve Jobs too. And yeah, people make all sorts of stories about people, and I don't think they're all totally true, but I've been fortunate to have met some very amazing folks for real, and it's just been I think, like I said, it's been inspirational seeing people who actually have done amazing things, and maybe the inspiration, as Owen had asked me, where does it really come from? It just comes from meeting really cool people, um, and sometimes the opportunity, it doesn't automatically happen. You have to sometimes make things happen. I mean, I was kind enough. I was sorry, Ed Catmull, who was the president of Pixar, was kind enough to let me basically crash the party, and I was able to just meet all these really cool people who are in the effects industry. And I'm not in the effects industry at all. I just enjoy watching those things. So yeah, yeah. So let's see. I've been on the set for Into the Badlands, first, second, and third year. As a physical therapist, and I do some martial arts. I'm not very good. I don't know. I don't do, I don't do cage fighting and all that other stuff. I can't get hurt. I'm too busy working. I don't like pain very much. So, yeah. And so I've done some very cool things and met really cool people, and they're all just human beings, and they just happen to have the talent, and they've happened to uh, have the perseverance, I think, and the work ethic to get to where they are. So if anybody ever asks about where I get my inspiration from, it's from everyone I meet. And when I miss Comic Con in the sense where you get to meet people in person and talk about what you're doing. And some people are really, really interested in what you're doing, and some people don't even look at the booth. So it's like, yeah, I learned how to get a thicker skin. That just because I'm doing something and I think it's great doesn't mean anybody else will. It's like, yeah. But interesting enough, even my mom doesn't really care about what I'm doing. So it's like, oh well, your mom's not impressed, and what do you do then? It's like, oh well, it's okay. I wasn't trying to impress my mom, so I was trying to make myself happy. And I think, if you can make yourself happy and you make fans happy, I mean, then you're already on your way. Everything will be fine. So I wish I could tell you guys more stories of more people that I could tell a Steve Jobs story, but he's not here to prove or disprove anything. But Steve Jobs actually he was going to Pixar like every week, and he would drive himself there, and it was really cool because I would be there working on patients as a physical therapist, and the one time Steve Jobs, we were both at the urinal. It was pretty funny, and I was asking him for some advice about managing people because I run a physical therapy clinic also, and it was hilarious because I said, I don't think my employees respect me that much, and he goes, you need to make them a little bit afraid of you, and he emphasized a little bit afraid because I heard stories that he makes everybody afraid of him, and that he's maybe when I met him he wasn't like that anymore because I thought he was actually a very very nice man, and he took I got invited to one of the rap parties for Monsters, and he took special attention to my daughter because my daughter was the only little girl there, and and then he was a very gracious person. So like I said, I've had the honor to meet some really nice people, or really amazing people. So yeah. I see someone someone said he's stored in a cloud computer at Apple. Yeah, maybe not. I think you might be right about that. His consciousness, a Turing image of him is sitting there kind of overseeing everything still. Yeah, yeah. And agreed. You want to have a nice gentleman or lady, sci fiction, and you're saying, yeah, you have heart and you enjoy your work. It's what it's all about. And I agree. I'm still a physical therapist, licensed in the state of California. I still treat patients. As a matter of fact, when I treat patients, I feel better about everything. And so I do physical therapy. I just opened up a digital music label, and music and art and healing arts is it's a real thrill for me. I'm actually honored to be able to serve so many people and try to influence folks to do the positive things and think about positive things, or think about negative things so they can do positive things. How's that? So anyhow, good. Anybody else have any comments you want me to comment on, or yeah? No, no, no. Okay, so we're hitting 8:20. Got 10 more minutes that I'm supposed to be here in case other people drop in. I'm just very pleased that we have some folks already coming in and at least taking a look. Um, does I have I've oh so another thing about what we're going to do with Genesis 2. Genesis 2 is going to be promoted as a film or TV show. I did somehow procure a really great agent to pitch these intellectual properties to studios in Hollywood. So I'm again very, very grateful that I became friends with this person first. He thought I was a little. He thought he did, I don't know what he thought of me at first, because again, people don't go down to Hollywood and just start slinging ideas around, and I think I try to help other people all the time. That's just my nature, is to help, and a lot of people just aren't used to everyone coming down helping other people versus asking for help all the time. And typically down in LA, there's a lot of competition, or uh, just I wouldn't call it infighting, but there is a lot of jealousy and other stuff happening there. And I fortunately was able to integrate myself with a bunch of people who are not who are more collaborative. And so far, I've been very, very blessed that I have been working with Genova Carlisle, who is he actually teaches screenplay writing at St. Mary's College, but we were able to do a short film together that was not sci-fi. It was human drama, and it's picking up some awards, and it's going into actually being accepted to many festivals. We're hoping to go to Sundance. So yeah, I did a short film too as executive producer, and wasn't just handing out checks. I was basically filling out any voids that were in administration, and trying to make sure that the film itself stayed true to Genova's vision, because he was a screenplay writer and the director. So yeah, so I have my hands in many many different pots, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Yeah. So yeah, Owen mentioned, yeah, I was trying to do the comedy, the movie. I'll tell you, it takes years and years to kind of get into the industry, and I've made lots of good friends, and I know that it's all worked extremely hard to have done things that are still being played over and over again, and so I'm really grateful to be here, to be able to talk to you guys, and that it wasn't just one person watching, it was several, and thanks for checking in. Um, yeah, and action figures. That's cool. Yeah, we you know what? I'm all into just making going larger and having more fun. I think who knows what happens at the next Comic Con, and I'm hoping there will be one, maybe in a year. That vaccine will come around, and hopefully everybody will take it, and we'll be safer. Um, so I agree. Anyway, okay, I am running out of things to say, like Thor in that movie. He goes, "What? I'm running out of things to say." So, all right. So, I am hoping that, yes, that eventually we will be a movie or a TV series or a cartoon. Everything is great. I mean, to watch things come to life and have somebody else believe in your ideas are, that's part of why I worked so hard to try to sustain this whole not even a franchise. This is a whole concept. So, um, Norman A. Film. Norman. Hmm. Yep. Films take forever. So Owen, you're right. Everything is a process, and we have to be patient. Um, wow, cool. I'm looking at this stuff. That's pretty neat. Huh. Well, okay, guys and ladies, thank you very, very much for watching, and I appreciate everyone's time and your attention. And again, I'll be talking about some other things over the next period of week. On the 25th is my birthday. I decided to just take a live streaming a break, and then I'll be back. However, tomorrow and Friday, and then maybe two times on Sunday. So again, somebody just checked in, so I do have to keep talking. Uh, yeah, so I will be back. I'll be back tomorrow. I'll be talking for a couple of hours tomorrow. And again, I would appreciate you guys if you guys have any questions about anything. If you want to go back and talk about some other things, or you had a chance to even take a peek at some of the stuff we have for sale, or even stuff that we have for free on the website, go for it. And yeah, I mean, again, I'm here for you guys and ladies. Just ask me questions. I'm totally at your disposal. So anyhow, all right. Have a great rest of the digital con, and I will be around the next few days and Sunday also. All right. Thank you very much. Bye.